nothing more to say. Today is the magical day. Merry Christmas, everybody!
I wanted to share with you something cool that my family got me for Christmas. My husband, I think. This is tea that was picked up at a local art shop in Cuyahoga Falls. It's right next door to Harps and Thistles. And I will link information in the description for the video. But this tea is made by or distributed by the Tea Book in California, and it is specifically created so that it will support efforts in Ukraine. It will support people in Ukraine. So, but I think it's cool because it's got tea that is named after famous people, and many of them are scientists. But it's really cool. So this first one is Vincent van Goji Berry. Isn't that cute? And I'll read you what it has on here. It says, "I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of tea makes me dream." And this is goji berry flavored. And you can see the ingredients on the back there. Haven't tried this one yet. Actually, out of the ones that are in here, I only had one yesterday. So, the next one is Florence Nightingale. Isn't that cute? I love this. And this is nighttime tea blend. And the quote on here from Florence Nightingale is, "The first sign of their getting better was their craving again for tea." Florence Nightingale took care of soldiers in a war. I don't remember which one, but yes, so there's the ingredients. And the next one is Marie Curie, and it's called Radiant Hibiscus. Marie Curie and her husband discovered radium and radioactivity. But be less curious about people and more curious about teas. And don't become radioactive and get radiation poisoning in the process. So, as I taste these, I'll let you know how they taste too. The next one is just a simple Earl Grey, and this is Agatha Christie. Nice artwork on the front. And Agatha says, "Never tell all you know. Never tell all you know. Not even to a person with tea." And of course, she was an author who wrote 12 Little Indians, among some other things. And this last one I actually did try last night. It was really good. It's Nikola Tesla Low Voltage Jasmine Tea. And this is really, really good. And the quote on here is, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and tea." And of course, these are probably all made up for these characters with the tea, but I love this. I love things that are science related or literature related, just interesting stuff. So if you get a chance to find that tea, give it a go. The jasmine green tea, the Nikola Tesla, was really, really good. So just with a little bit of honey and nice and warm, it's a good thing to wind down with at the end of the day. Okay, so I had been itching to cast on socks. I was trying really hard not to, and I was working on my mom's poncho that I showed you a few times, and also working on mittens. kind of unofficially joining in on the experimental knit along with Knitistry Nerds. The mitten, the first one that I tried, well, actually it was the second one. It was too short and the thumb was too big. I'll show it to you at some point. But I quickly, learned from those mistakes, which is what happens when you experiment. You're supposed to figure out what happened when you failed and fix it and move forward. And so I did, and the next mitten that I made, I finished in a day, I think. And so much better. So much better. It actually doesn't look like a Frankenstein mitten. But I'll show it to you. Probably in my quality improvement or quality assurance podcast. But I did want to show you what I ended up casting on for socks on Christmas Eve. I decided to cast on this beautiful caramel latte color from Fig and Posy that I showed you when I was doing the yarn tour. So, love this stuff. Just love it. Like I said, Fig and Posy, it's the caramel latte. It's their super sock base, 75 super wash merino, 25% off. So, and it is proving to work up just as nicely as I was hoping. So check out how those colors are working. And I'm on a US size 1, 2.25 millimeter ChalGoo, and I'm using Magic Loop. But there's unexpectedly, I didn't notice when I bought it, but there are little splashes of red in there, which just makes it look even better. So yeah, so I love how this is working up. It's nice and warm. It is definitely caramely looking. I've got my little Santa progress keeper. So this is what I did on Christmas Eve. And then where Santa starts up to the top is how far I got on Christmas Day. So not too bad considering, Gary and I were cooking and we had to go get Andrew because his car is broken and that kind of stuff. So I do follow Kay Litton's suggestion of using a light bulb stitch marker every 10 rows or 10 rounds so that I can keep track of how long I'm making everything. And then when you get over to sock 2, using the light bulb stitch markers to track everything so that when you get to sock number 2, as you're going, you just transfer the stitch marker from here over to the next sock. And that way when you use up the stitch markers, they're going to be exactly the same. So, but yeah, so nice, so squishy, and so stretchy. Love it. Really pretty. So that's what I cast on. And yeah, I really like knitting socks. It's so much fun. If you have not tried knitting socks yourselves, please do. Of course, the Crazy Sock Lady has some wonderful tutorials that you can use to learn how to knit socks. That's how I did it. And then Earth Tones Girl also has some tutorials for some techniques that she developed. And she shows you how to change colors, which was good for me because I've been kind of scared to try contrast cuffs, heels, and toes, but I love the look of it. But she showed us how to do that. Earth Tones Girl, Denise. So check her out too. Check out her tutorials. But yeah, so knitting socks is fun. If you haven't done it, try it. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Okay. So I wanted to share some of the things that I got from my family for Christmas. The first is this awesome drop spindle. When I was at Mid-Ohio Fiber Fair, I purchased some unspun wool and I want to try spinning, but I didn't want to commit to an electric spinner, and I definitely don't have the space for a full-size foot pedal spinning wheel. So this was cheap and it's a good way to learn. There is a podcast from a young woman in Scotland who actually does a whole lot of natural dyeing of yarn, and she actually carves her own drop spindles on occasion. So I will link to her podcast. I will have to remember her name and let you know, but she gave me the inspiration to want to do that. So, but before I do, I am probably going to go out in the yard and find some of our black walnuts. We've got lots of black walnut trees. Those of you who are familiar with black walnuts know that when you crack open that green husk, on the inside is some really dark brown stuff that stains everything that it touches. And so I'm planning on taking some of that and sanding this down, staining it with the black walnut stain that comes directly from the husk, and then sealing it with either wax or some, polyurethane or something like that before I try spinning, because I think that would look really cool. So thank you to my son Steven for that. I appreciate that. I would definitely enjoy using this. And then I wanted to share that another of my sons, Andrew, stopped by Harps and Thistles and picked up another set of tips for me, the Chowgoo Twist interchangeables. I've already got cables that these will work on. So yeah, thank you, Andrew. We get to cast on more socks. These are US 1 2.25 millimeter. And then my husband stopped by when he was in Toledo. He stopped by a shop in Perrysburg called the Chickadee Knit Studio. And he said this is a really cool place that has lots of cool yarn, but I wanted to show you what he chose, and he did well. So thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. The first one is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply sock yarn. It is 75% wool and 25% nylon, and the wool, 35% of that is blue-faced Leicester, and I love blue-faced Leicester, but it's all British wool. Reared, sheared, and spun in Britain. So, and this color is nutmeg. So, isn't that pretty? I love that color. Definitely my kind of color. So, thank you. And the next one he got is another of the West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. And this color is, there it is, it's cayenne pepper. Isn't that so cool? It's almost like a salmon-y pink kind of color. But yeah, this is gonna be so cool to make stuff. Thank you. And the last one that he picked up is really cute. This is from Songbird Yarn and Fibers, and this is the ruby-throated hummingbird. It says on the label, these tiny jewels zip in and out of flowers collecting nectar. They are Eastern North America's only breeding hummingbird. Their migration takes them thousands of miles twice a year, often crossing the Gulf of Mexico in a single flight. So this is on their sock base of 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It is 115 grams, 425 yards. Isn't that cool with the red and the gray and the green and the cream? And there's the ruby-throated hummingbird. Looks pretty much like it, right? Isn't that cool? I love it. Thank you. This will probably end up being a shawl so that I can keep my neck warm during the winter. So thank you. I'm going to have fun with this. Thank you to my family for those awesome fiber crafting related items. I love them. I will put them to good use.
everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Critical
Here we go.